All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin this lesson by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much due honors and respect to you brothers out there that's also laboring in this work, continuing to push out this gospel in all truth, faith, and sincerity. So yeah, I just wanted to go into a quick lesson concerning with remembering and rejoicing with the wife of thy youth, all right? Meaning to stick with what you was taught in the beginning, all right? And not be seduced or drawn away by these strange doctrines, all right? Because if you're looking for a way to be dismissed or removed from this ministry, well, a sure shot way is when you begin to entertain different doctrines or things outside of what you was taught, all right? Because the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through his son, Yahweh Shai, all right, they set up a certain order, all right, or a certain pipeline that this truth was going to be dispersed, starting with the apostles, all right, and elders and men that was set up before you, all right, on down to you. Then you continue in that legacy, all right? So when you come into this truth, it's important not to develop itching ears, all right? Because Jake have a short attention span by nature, all right? When you read about Moses and Aaron and the time we was in the wilderness, all right, when the time Moses went up to speak with the Lord, all right, Jake became impatient and they, pretty much got on Aaron and had Aaron to build them a golden calf, something that they can worship, all right? It just show the impatience of Jake, and once you get, acclimated to a certain belief system or whatever, then it becomes boring to a lot of Jake, man. That's why we seeing guys fall out, whether it was the flat earth thing or all Edomites will not be destroyed or, we're not to worship Yahweh Shai, and so on and so forth. I know in my time of being in this truth, I've seen numerous seducing spirits to take men and draw men away. And mainly it's because of their own lust, all right? And their unfaithfulness to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. They grow impatient and they look for something new and exciting, all right? But you don't want to be in that spirit, all right? You want to always remember the wife of your youth, man, all right? Now, this is the book of Proverbs, the 5th chapter, start at the 15th verse. It says, drink waters out of thine own cistern and running waters out of thine own well. Yeah, meaning your pipeline, if you will, your source to the truth was who? The apostles, all right? Now you have certain men that came into this truth and they might have been woken up. I mean, the Most High might have used, the brothers out in L.A., the brothers in San Francisco, Atlanta, or Texas to wake up certain brothers. Well, guess what? That's your well right there. All right? If the Lord used certain men or a certain camp to wake you up, you should drink from that well. It's not convenient for you, all right, to go outside of where you've been drinking. Go into Sakari or some other group. No, you drink out of your own cistern, man. All right? Verse 16, let thy fountains be dispersed abroad and rivers of waters in the streets. Yeah, proving that you got to push this word out on the streets. All right? Let them be only thine own and not strangers with thee. Let thy fountain be blessed and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. Yeah, meaning when you first was woken up, all right, and this knowledge was presented to you, well, that's the wife of your youth, man. You need to stick with that, all right? Don't go stepping out on the wife of your youth because you begin, and that's what happened, guys begin to grow bored with the basics and the basic understanding of the scriptures, all right? Just like Jake, the nature of Jake. Jake is a very adulterous nation, man. All right, they'll be with a woman or vice versa. A woman be with a man for a certain amount of time. Then they just grow bored. Then they want to go out and test the waters. And that's no different than in this truth. You have guys that come into this truth and then they figure that they got it mastered then they grow bored. Now they want to learn something new and exciting. They want to, embark on a new challenge. All right? But that's not the right spirit to be in. You got to stick with the wife of your youth, which is the things that brought you into this truth, man. All right? This is 2 Timothy chapter 3, and start at verse 13. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. Right? So as we move forward, and like we have already seen, men have been seduced by other evil men. All right? You had a lot of guys to fall weak and be seduced by the flat earth doctrine. You had guys to be seduced that Israelites are all gonna be Negroes. All right, that was a seducing spirit that swept a lot of guys. That Issachar and the northern tribes are not the Israelites. You had guys to be seduced with the whole idea that all Edomites is not going to be destroyed. They've been seduced with the fact that you're going to have Israelites that look like other nations, and so on and so forth, all right? Meaning these guys, they wasn't rejoicing with the wife of their youth. They got bored, they grew impatient, and basically developed a short attention span, all right? What made them ultimately have itching ears. Matter of fact, I'm going to jump back to that, but let me get that real quick. That's 2 Timothy chapter 4. Yeah, verse 3. For the time will come when they shall not endure sound doctrine. Right, and that's the time that we're in now. But after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. Right, so that's you guys that didn't continue in the things that you was taught. All right, you developed itching ears. All right, you became impatient and you stepped out on the wife of your youth. All right, so back in 2 Timothy 3 and 13, but evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. Verse 14, but continue thou in the things which thou hast learned. That's right, meaning continue with the wife of your youth, man. You can't fail if you play it safe, all right? You continue in the things that you was taught. And that don't mean you got to stay basic, because you got certain men that was taught deep mysteries as well. The apostles have went into very deep breakdowns. You have certain men out here that was able to attain that and retain that and understand it, all right? So it doesn't mean just stay simple, all right? You're going to grow in this truth. So if you grow to a certain level, so be it. But just make sure you grow by the things that you was taught, all right? Starting with the apostles. That's the pecking order the Lord set up for this truth to be, to come through the pipeline, so to speak, all right? It got a certain proper channel it takes, starting with the apostles on down. But continue thou in the things which thou hast learned and hast been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them. See? Knowing of whom you have learned them. And all of these guys who have become scoffers and scorners, all right, who have henceforth been removed out of great millstone, out of the house of David, well, they not acknowledging who they got this truth from. Like those guys, Shy, Tried, and Refined, all right, they on record as saying that the apostles of great millstone, the men of the Lord. But once they had had a problem with the apostles, and they was asked that same question, then they reverted to something totally different. They resorted to saying, no, man, the Lord himself told us, the Bible told us, all right? So these things are going to happen in this truth, all right? But one of the ways that you can offset that is just stick with the things that you was taught. In other words, rejoice with the wife of your youth, man. All right? The very thing that brought you in, stick with that. All right? This is the book of Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 14. That we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine. Right? And that's what you have, man. Like, really, man, that shows that these guys never was, they never growed in this truth. Like those flat earther guys, man. Those guys that was a part of the LA camp. Here it is, they was masquerading in front, like they was really grounded, like they was really studying, you know, and they was persuaded. And they got carried away with a doctrine, man. All right? And there's a lot of men that's like that. And there's gonna be more men to fall out like that. All right? If it wasn't so, then it wouldn't be written. It says by the sleight of men, right? And usually a lot of these guys fall out behind Esau's doctrine. All right? The flat earth, that's a Esau production, man. All right, and amongst many other things. We had a bug out roll up on our camp talking about the flat earth thing, but he was going all into the constellations and the Revelation, the 12th chapter with the 12 stars and the dragon that drew 3 stars to the earth. He was going into some way bugged out shit, man. All right? He claimed to believe in the Bible, but he was tossed to and fro by a strange doctrine. All right? It says, by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. Right? So they was really set up to deceive you, man. The Most High Yahweh, through his son Yahweh Shah, set up certain stumbling blocks to actually sift those men that was deemed to be undesirables, man. So at the end of the day, if anybody get caught up out there, get caught out there, that mean that they wasn't never of that precious number known as the elect, all right? So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Again, all right, you know, rejoice with the wife of thy youth, all right? Until the next time I say, shalom.